Hi, I'm Abby. Before we get started, please like this video and subscribe to the Private Diary channel. This is my story. The situation I found myself in was absolutely insane. But let's start at the beginning. One day, my parents were offered good jobs in another city, and we immediately moved there. Their new colleagues came to our housewarming party. They had a daughter my age called Valerie. We hid in my room to get to know each other. Valerie turned out to be a cool girl. When I found out we were going to be classmates, I was over the moon. There's so many pictures on the walls. Did you take them? Yeah, it's my hobby. I didn't tell her the reason why I liked taking photos so much though. Thing was, I wanted to find my soulmate. I liked looking at the faces of the people I'd taken photos of. I believed that when I saw the face of my one and only, my heart would give me a sign. A couple of days after I met Valerie, I came to my new school. She showed me around and introduced me to her friends. That's when I saw two gorgeous boys. They were walking down the hallway like it was a runway and didn't seem to notice anyone around them. Am I hallucinating, or are you seeing these stunning guys too? Who are they? The girls cast frightened looks at those boys, and Valerie took me aside. Those were Harry and Lloyd. If you don't want to become one of their conquests and end up with a broken heart, you should stay away from them, Abby. They're monsters. I ignored my friend's warning because I only listened to my heart. And at that moment, it was screaming at me to get closer to Lloyd. There was something about him that bewitched me. I even took some photos of Lloyd and hurried to develop them so I could stare at him whenever I wanted. He has such beautiful yet sad eyes. My heart skipped a beat, and I realized I was in trouble. I'd totally fallen for a guy that everyone was calling a monster. Someone knocked at my door. I quickly hid the photos, and I opened it, only to see Valerie. We need to talk. Could you follow Harry around? Why? Those guys are hiding some sort of dark secret. All the girls want to know what it is. But why do you want me to spy on them? Because you're the new girl. No one will pay you any mind. Please, Abby? I want to show that jerk Harry that girls rule. I gave it a little thought, and I agreed. After all, I really wanted to be friends with Valerie. And besides, it was my chance to find out more about Lloyd. He and Harry were joined at the hip. The next morning, I got down to business. I spent the day sneaking around school, taking photos of Harry and eavesdropping on his conversations. At some point, I let my guard down. We were in the dining room when Harry and Lloyd grew suspicious. Bro, is it just me, or has this girl been stalking us all day? Maybe. I don't really care. Since they caught me red-handed, I decided to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Abby. I smiled at them, but the kings of broken hearts just looked at me coldly and turned away without saying anything. Wow, they should have Googled what good manners were. It made my blood boil, but I didn't stop spying on them. And soon, something interesting happened. Harry and Lloyd told a bunch of other boys all the members of the fraternity were to come to the boys' bathroom after classes. I was dying of curiosity, so I snuck into the boys' bathroom and I hid in one of the booths. At recess, Harry and all the rest of the boys came in. That's how I found out that all of them were members of a fraternity called No Girls. Each member was a guy who'd had his heart broken. Guys, today we welcome a new member to our fraternity. My girlfriend dumped me. I want to join you. I watched through the crack of the door as Lloyd and Harry performed a rite of passage for that miserable guy. And then they all started chanting, "No girls." It was nuts. I felt like the protagonist of a thriller. After all the boys had left, I wondered why Valerie had asked me to spy on Harry. Was she hiding something too? I wonder who broke Lloyd's heart. I printed out all of Harry's photos, and I went in search of Valerie to tell her about everything I'd found. As I walked out, I noticed Harry and decided to find out where he was going. But at some point, I got so carried away playing spy, I didn't notice a pole in the middle of the street and walked right into it. I dropped the photos, and they ended up scattered all over the place. Dang it! I hope no one saw that. I started to frantically gather up the photos, and then Harry picked up one of them and smirked at me. Were you taking photos of me? Yeah, I was. You see, my mom works at a modeling agency, and sometimes I share the photos of my classmates if I think that their looks are interesting. Of course, I lied to him. What else was I supposed to do? Harry gave me an incredulous look, but he let it go. Phew. Then he looked at the other photos and suddenly smiled. You know, you're kind of good at this. I'm a bit of a photographer myself. How about we hang out and take some photos together sometime? If I became Harry's friend, it might be easier for me to spy on the boys. Besides, that was my chance to get closer to Lloyd. He was still a total mystery to me, and I was determined to solve it. Anyway, I agreed. See you around then. He waved at me and left. I came to Valerie's place, and I finally told her about everything I'd found. The boys started a no-girls fraternity? Wow. When I told her about Harry wanting to hang out with me, a devilish light appeared in my friend's eyes. Abby, get into his house and steal his underwear. Don't you think that's a bit much? What do you want his underwear for? I promise I'll explain everything later. I'm running late for tennis practice now, though. Oh, I don't know how, but Valerie managed to talk me into it. And so, the next day, Harry suggested we take photos of birds together. I went out into the schoolyard and Lloyd came with us. I tried to be friendly, but Lloyd ignored me and acted like I wasn't even there. Can you believe it? Just watch. Lloyd, do you have any hobbies? He ignored my question and turned to his friend. Hurry up, Harry, I'm hungry. Go, I'll catch up. Lloyd shrugged and left for the dining room. Harry immediately turned to me with a mischievous smile. Abby, why don't we organize a fun photo shoot? He wanted us to take photos of our principal dancing to BTS songs. I'm not sure. Won't we get in trouble? No one but us is gonna see these photos. Come on, Abby. It'll be so much fun. I still thought it was a bad idea, but I agreed to gain Harry's trust and find a way to Lloyd's cold heart. All right, but you need to promise me that no one but us will see these photos. Trust me. We hid under the window of the principal's office and waited for him after classes. I suggested we tell each other secrets to pass the time. Just an innocent game, you know? Okay. You go first. Okay. I actually take photos of people because I'm trying to find my soulmate. I know it's silly. Not at all. It's very romantic. It's my turn now, right? Okay. I used to go out with Valerie, and she broke my heart. Took me a long time to recover after her betrayal. What? My friend hadn't told me about that. I knew there was something she was hiding. It infuriated me that Valerie had tricked me into spying on her ex. At that moment, I was so mad at her I told Harry about everything. Why am I not surprised? Valerie has always liked to spin webs of intrigue. She's great at manipulating people. Harry told me Valerie used to have a friend called Simone. She and Lloyd were an item. Things were going great until Valerie convinced her to betray Lloyd. Simone wanted to be friends with that wacko so much, she made fun of Lloyd's romantic poems and then burned them in front of the whole school. Simone was expelled after that, but Valerie got away with it all. The saddest thing is, Simone really hurt Lloyd. He's been ignoring all girls ever since. Oh, so that's who broke Lloyd's heart. Now I knew why he refused to talk to me. The principal finally walked into his office and turned on a BTS song. What a day. I can finally relax. He started dancing and pretending he was a K-pop star. It looked ridiculous. Trying to hold back laughter, we took some photos of him and ran away. Right after that, I went to Valerie's place to give her a piece of my mind. As soon as she opened the door, I told her I knew everything. You and Simone are the real witches. The boys created the no-girls fraternity because you trampled all over them. Has Harry brainwashed you? That's not what happened at all, Abby. Harry's the real bastard. He put my underwear on public display and then dumped me. So I'm trying to use you to get back at him. Oh, you just like to act like you're the victim. I'm not gonna believe your fake tears. The next day, I was in for an unpleasant surprise. The photos of the principal I'd taken the day before were all over the school. In them, my reflection was clearly visible in the window, so everyone knew who had taken the pictures. Oops, I'm in trouble. As soon as I said that, I heard the principal coming up behind me. Was I gonna get detention? Abby, I should expel you for this, but I'll give you a second chance. In the end, all I had to do was help out at the library. I got off easy, I'll be honest. As soon as the principal left, I went to Harry. He was chatting with Lloyd and the other boys from the no-girls fraternity when I found him. Harry, you promised me no one would see those pictures. In response, he just smiled arrogantly. Did you really think we were friends? Naive little Abby. I knew right away you were spying on me. So I decided to teach you a lesson. Thanks to you, I finally got back at all the girls who treated us like dirt. The frat boys high-fived each other and left, proud of their victory. Lloyd was the only one who gave me a sympathetic look, but he didn't say anything. Before I could recover from that slap in the face, Valerie and her friends came up to me. Well, do you believe me now? Harry and his friends are scumbags. I can't believe you told him about our plan. I'm sorry. I don't know who to trust. I don't think we should hang out anymore. The girls left without a sparing glance, and I wilted. Why did I become the school's outcast when Valerie and Harry were the ones who hated each other's guts? Okay, this isn't the end of the world. I tried to stay upbeat, but it was hard. After classes, I went to the library. Working there was my punishment, remember? I was dusting the books when I heard voices in the office next door. That's weird. Classes ended hours ago. No one should be at school anymore. I opened the door to the office a crack and peeked inside. Valerie was holding a secret meeting for the girls. The boys started a fraternity and called it No Girls. Can you believe it? They keep setting us up and making fun of us. Let's start a No Guys sorority. That's right. Let's take revenge on them for breaking our hearts. Of course, everyone voted in favor. I backed away from the door before any of the girls could see me. Ugh, it seems like things at this school are about to go from bad to worse. Unfortunately, my fears came true. The next day, the school became a battlefield. At first, Valerie and the girls pranked the boys. Ow! Who did this? One of life's greatest mysteries. Girls, you're gonna regret this. The principal called everyone to his office and scolded them, but then it was the boys' turn. Oh, my clothes are glued to the chair! Ugh, we can't let the boys get away with this. Everyone kept going around in circles. The boys and the girls fought and the principal punished them. I wasn't accepted into the sorority, so I didn't take any part of it. To my surprise, neither did Lloyd. At recess, Harry and his friends set up a trap for Valerie. She was supposed to slip on the oil they'd spilled and fall into a pile of garbage. However, Lloyd saved Valerie by pushing her aside at the last moment. Everything would have been fine if the principal hadn't fallen in her place. He decided that Lloyd was the one behind it and dragged him to the office. Sir, I just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I've been working at this school for a long time, young man. You can't fool me. After they left, the girls and the boys started to fight like cats and dogs again. Harry and Valerie were shouting the loudest. Of course, looking at all that madness made me wonder why Lloyd had acted so noble. After classes, I went to the library as usual. To my surprise, the principal brought Lloyd there. You're going to work here with Abby. It wasn't fair because he hadn't done anything wrong. I'm not gonna lie though, I was glad for the chance to spend some more time with Lloyd. We got down to business in silence. After some time, I saw him looking at the photos in the textbooks with genuine interest. Do you like that picture? Yeah, the lighting is great. Wow, so you're also interested in photography, like Harry? I am. Harry was just lying to gain your trust though, but he went too far trying to get back at the girls. Valerie and her friends are no better. Lloyd and I realized we weren't all that different and we talked as we worked. Time flew by. When it got dark, we suddenly realized that the library door was locked. The security guard probably didn't know we were in here and closed the school for the night. How are we supposed to get out now? Relax, I know what to do. He cheerfully pointed at the vents. Then he deftly climbed into them and held out a hand to me. You'll have to trust me if you don't want to spend the night here. We probably could have just called for help, but I wasn't about to say no to an adventure with the guy that made my heart flutter. Soon, we crawled out of the vents and into the hallways, and then climbed out of a window and walked down the fire escape. Lloyd was a real gentleman the whole time. He helped me and even walked me home. That little adventure brought us closer together. For the first time in a long time, I was in a great mood. I even called Valerie and apologized for telling Harry everything. Forget it, it's all in the past. Have you thought about calling a ceasefire with the boys? Your feud won't end well. Heck no! We're preparing something huge. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't convince Valerie to call a truce. Okay, it's your choice, but I'm not gonna be a part of this. The next day, I saw Lloyd talking to Harry at school. Dude, guys fighting with the girls is not gonna lead to anything good. Enough of this already. Heck no, we're preparing something huge for these princesses. Okay, it's your choice, but I'm not gonna be a part of this. With those words, Lloyd came up to me and smiled awkwardly. Everyone's obsessed with this feud. What can we do? Nothing. Let them figure it out for themselves. We're not their babysitters. We stepped into the school and stopped short. The boys and the girls were on the warpath. Someone had pulled the fire alarm, plugged all the drains, and turned on the water in the bathrooms. The hallways were flooded. All of the students were running back and forth, screaming and hanging posters on the walls. Some of them said the boys did it, and some said the girls did it. It was complete chaos. Classes were disrupted, and the furious principal was looking for the culprits. Abby, let's just go on a walk until all this madness is over. He took my hand and we ran outside. We wandered around a park and took pictures of people walking walking their pets. I felt really close to him. Most importantly, I had a feeling Lloyd was falling for me. Eventually, we sat down in a cafe and ordered coffees. I was working up the courage to confess to Lloyd, but then a stunning girl suddenly sat down next to us. Simone? Hi, baby. I'm so sorry we broke up. It was so dramatic. I still think about you. Oh, who's this? Simone pointed at me. Oh, her? No one. She's just a classmate of mine. Just a classmate, huh? Lloyd looked confused, but he was clearly over the moon. It seemed he still had feelings for her, so I decided to leave them alone. Excuse me, I need to go. I headed back towards school. Why did Simone have to come back now? I was so frustrated I wanted to rip my own hair out. What was I supposed to do now? Fight for the guy I liked or let him go? I came to school lost in thought. Things seemed to have calmed down some. The principal, red as a tomato, was scolding both the no girls and no boys communities. In all my years of work, I have never seen such foolishness. You are all going to be expelled. As soon as he left, Harry and Valerie went right back to fighting. This is all your fault. You decided to get back at me first. I only did it because you humiliated and then dumped me. You cheated on me with a bartender. A bartender? What are you talking about? Simone told me all about it. What? Whoa. It turned out that Simone was behind it all. She told Valerie and Harry nasty things about each other so they'd break up, and then broke Lloyd's heart. No wonder she'd been expelled for her temper. So you didn't cheat on me? Are you crazy? I liked you, and I still do. I like you too. After that, the lovebirds threw their arms around each other and ended their feud. Their followers had no choice but to make up too. Meanwhile, I realized with horror that Simone had come back for a reason. She was going to hurt Lloyd again. I couldn't let that happen, so I ran back to the cafe as fast as I could. Lloyd, I can't hide it any longer. I like you. Choose me, not Simone. She just wants to wreak havoc. I told him it was Simone's fault Valerie and Harry had broken up and started the feud. Why would you do that? What kind of question is that? I just like messing with people. It's fun. I wanted to get Lloyd back and then break his heart again. But since you're so boring and figured it out, I'll go have fun somewhere else. Ciao. She left with a mean laugh, and Lloyd looked at me confused. So it's true? What, that Simone is an evil witch? No, that you like me. Oh, of course. I know you don't feel the same, but I liked you at first sight too. I couldn't break the rules of our fraternity, but I didn't want to be mean to you either, so I just tried to act like I didn't care, even though my heart was pounding. After that, Lloyd and I became an item. We had a lot in common and enjoyed every minute we spent together. Harry and Valerie managed to convince the principal not to expel them. Harry even apologized to me for breaking his promise. This sounds like a happy ending, right? Unfortunately, soon after that, my parents told me terrible news. We were fired because a scoundrel framed us for fun. We're moving back. That news was a bolt from the blue. Why do some people feel the need to ruin lives just to feel good? Do you think Lloyd and I will manage having a long-distance relationship? Or would it be better to break things off entirely? Tell me what you think in the comments down below, and don't forget to press like.